very good Sunday morning to you, and welcome to Austria for the final races here in the second round of the Biathlon World Cups. And the first of the men's relays for the season. You can see the start numbers on the screen at the moment. France have the honour of wearing number 1, being the World Cup champions in relay from last year. A little bit surprising, but they did have 3 out of 4 races in the podium position, so only got 1 win. Very open race indeed, and I guess with that victory in the overall Relay World Cup last year, Mike, it makes France one of the big 4. It used to be Germany, Russia, Norway. The victory always decided between those 3. France now a real threat, but a little unfortunate that Simon Fourcade is not on the sort of form we were expecting.
Well, that's right, and the French team, they've got the strength of the ability to hit the targets, maybe a little percentage-wise more than the rest, and that's what you need in this race. Hitting the 5 targets with 5 rather than using the spare rounds is a big bonus here.
Now, I know you'll have checked the odds with various bookies. What, anything strike you?
Just the usual, the top 6, the Austria, Germany, Russia, Norway, France. I suppose Ast almost, they ended up last year in the rankings, so no outsiders looking like the bookies have them as favourites.
Well, what about the Russians? What can they do? They've got the same team in the same order as last year. They finished 6th in the World Championships, the Russians, which was really disappointing for them. But they've got a good squad. Shapulin, Makoviev, Ustikov, Malishko, and on paper, by far the best team so far this year. Germany, well, they're missing their key man, I think. Andreas Birnbacher would have been a really good asset to the team, but understandably, he's a little tired. He's had a hard week already with 2 really good races. Austria, well, they won here back in 1999. I thought it was 2005. It was 1999. That makes me feel old. And that was one of the races of the decade, certainly, with a fantastic comeback on the last leg. Home snow for the Austrians. What about the Swedes? Another team that are on the up, but only have 3 class acts, I feel.
They do. Well, Freddie Lindstrom, we saw him there starting. Very good race yesterday, 4th. His form is getting better and better each race.
Shapelin in for Alanishko in the Belarus team. Poiré, of course, trying to work his magic with that team. The Czech Republic, well, they won here back in 2000. Only Vitek, though, survives from that team 12 years ago. Beautiful sunshine, it's a great morning. The crowd's still rolling into the stadium here in Hochfilzen, and the men's relay just about to get underway. A big field, a really good field, and a difficult call as to who is going to win this one.
Ready! Go back.
They're having none of that. 25 teams in, all on the start line, and a long hold before they get underway. Up along the stadium, and then they go double back and then onto the course. So the first leg runners have slightly further to go than anyone else. Interesting, Mike, that most teams have put their weakest first. Norway have put Birkeland in there. Vincent Jay goes for France, and we're hearing, having discussed his retirement yesterday, or speculated about his retirement yesterday, that this is going to be his last race. I hope it was nothing to do with what we said.
Well, you called it. I didn't think about it. I still think that Vincent Jay, he's performing well, and I really hope in his final ever race, of course, the Olympic champion in the sprint, I really hope it goes well for him. But I am surprised he's retiring. All the investment of time throughout the summer, he's just realizing that maybe his ski speed hasn't picked up. His shooting's still great, and he's just had enough.
Well, maybe Mickey Grice has started the ball rolling, and some of the top athletes saying, well, if I'm not going well, I might as well retire and get on with the rest of my life. Why waste the whole winter finishing 30th, 40th, 50th, and actually doing himself no good at all?
Well, that's right. If he doesn't see a chance of Vincent Jay for the podium individually, then it is a tough slog out on the World Cup Tour. It looks glamorous, lovely day-to-day in Hochfilzen, but it is a tough regime.
Now, how important to get a good position off the start line when you think 25 skiers out there?
I think very important, and Schlesinger and the Czech Republic team are looking to establish themselves in the relays. We saw that up in the mixed relay in Östersund, so Schlesinger straight to the front to keep out of trouble. Kevin Kane, sensibly, when you start on the back lane, Kevin Kane being promoted from the IBU Cup, for today for the relay. And Kevin's had a fantastic start to his season with some of the best shooting on the IBU Cup.
Team 10, that is the Czech Republic with Schlesinger. The USA just slotting in around 9th, 10th position, which is really where they finished in every race last year. There's Kevin Kane at the back of the field, but you have to be patient in this game, Mike. We discussed it yesterday. It takes too much effort to try and overtake on these narrow tracks, and you might as well try and make your move when you come into the range to shoot.
So much tension if you're on the grid on the third lane, the third lineup, should I say. It's difficult, no way through. The track's pretty much even though, Patrick. It's been well skied on in the practice session this morning.
Sweden just edging their way into the lead, a team that were way down in 16th position in the World Championships. That was a disaster for the Swedes, and but they did finish 4th here last year. They know that they have the potential to win this one, but for Sweden it really all depends on leg number 2. If Eriksson has a good race, then there's a very good chance, because Ferry Bergman is as good as any combination for legs 3 and 4.
It's a good team, and with Lindstrom, well, he's just hovering first, second place. With Lindstrom coming back on form, I think the Swedish team is going to land. They've spent time at altitude. A good number of foreign camps, including the Ramsau Glacier and the glacier down in Italy as well, the Swedish team. And I like the way the Swedish team, they've been allowed to, the coach has shaped each individual's training plan, realizing that everyone operates slightly differently. And I think that's a good system. They're mature enough to know what to do best.
That's an interesting point, Mike. The way a coach works, writing out a training regime for the whole team, is a little bit old school. Each of the athletes are different. They're all at different phases of their peaks and troughs in their performance level, and it's up to the coach to be able to read that and know what's good. But I quite like the Scandinavian system, where the coach actually teaches you to train yourself. You have to learn to read your own body signs.
And I think that makes a much better individual in the team, because you need freedom. You can't be with the team all the time. It suppresses you, and you need that freedom in thinking and in training. It's like Jakob Falk deciding it's the hill, I'm going to go to the front.
Well, this is where he won his race with a big burst on the final hill. Great performer, isn't he, Jakob Falk, Mike? So nice to see he's got some confidence in the range as well. We've always known he's a brilliant skier, but to be able to take Martin Fourcade to the cleaners on the last lap of a race, that really does go down in the record books.
It was incredible, and there he is. He's kind of slowing it down now, but alongside him, Lindstrom's not, looks like he's going to unleash and try to push it. It's not particularly fast though at the moment, Patrick.
It's not fast. This is the slowest. I think this is the slowest Jakob Falk has ever skied. He's gone to the front. He wants to control the pace at the front. This is exactly what he did yesterday, and I think he found that on these narrow tracks, if you control the race, you know exactly what's going to happen. You don't get any psychological surprises, and that's really where he won the day yesterday.
And look what he's done there. He's slowed it down. Now he's put on a turn of pace, so he really has damaged the back end of the field, who can only accordion pack up tight together.
Yeah, crafty skiing. I like it. It's maybe he's the new Bjorndalen, who used to be so good with his awareness, or the Petter Northug of the biathlon world.
Possibly. He's got a great instinct, Jakob Falk, and what a find. Croatian, and then the Slovenians realised, well, Croatia didn't have the budget really to take him to the top level.
Well, this is the most technical corner on the course. You'll see the different ways of taking it. Some will take it tight. If you drift wide, you're into the slightly softer snow, so it's not a bad idea. And by the time we get to the last lap, they may struggle with that corner a little. The rut's already starting to form. So when they come, the first shoot, you can see the crowds considerably bigger than they were yesterday. The weather's played a part. The fact that the racing has been so good also playing a part. And I think Hochfilzen's done exceptionally well. And I tell you what's nice to see, Mike, is that the smoke coming out of the local factory is going straight up into the blue skies, as opposed to horizontally down towards Germany.
Well, that should indicate, Patrick, that from these 25 teams, we're going to get, at least 10 hitting 5 out of 5. No need to use the 3 extra rounds that they have, each of these athletes have, in case they miss any targets. Then you hand feed them. It takes about 10 seconds.
Yeah, 5 targets, 8 rounds of ammunition, but only 5 in the magazine. Sweden the first to strike. Good start for the Swedes. Slovenia with Jakub Fakt, one spare round required. No mistakes from the Swedes with Freddie Lindström. That's not a surprise. The Austrians get away cleanly, and a great performance from the local team. Dani Mesetic, who is the first leg runner for them. He'll be handing over to Christoph Suman, Pinter, Landerting, and all names that we've had on the circuit for at least 6 years, and in some cases 12, 13, 14 years of experience behind them. The Americans, Mike, a team that should be in the running for a top 5 position.
I would agree, they do have the ski speed. Kevin Kane struggling down there with such good shooting at the IBU Cup. When you then step it up, the pressure of first leg, delighted he's got it. But yes, the Americans, and first leg for the Americans hasn't been racing individually. Leif Nordgren, he's skiing fast, but just hasn't been hitting the targets.
Well, it's a disaster for Inamata of Japan. 5 misses in all, so 3 penalty loops. Maybe someone dropped his rifle on the way to the range. There's no excuse for that, Mike, but that's an absolute disaster for him. Sweden, Austria, France, Germany, Slovenia, the top 5 at the moment. Only 7 seconds between them.
Welcome back out on the track again after the first shoot. I can tell you, 11 of the best athletes here hit the perfect 5 out of 5, giving the advantage where they can at least get out of the range as quickly as they possibly can. No need to hand feed the extra rounds. Fredrik Lindström leading the way at the moment. And there's the 11. You can just see a group of 6 up the front, and then being followed by the 5 chasing them down. They're the ones that hit the perfect 5 out of 5.
Well, it's nice to see a bit of blue sky here in Austria, and we always get a good mix. Lots of fresh snow, lots of sunshine, and the sort of pick-me-up that the athletes need at this time of year. Of course, only one more round of the World Cup, and then they stop for the Christmas break. It all seems to go so fast. But just a little bit of sympathy for the racers. This is the 3rd day of racing in succession. And Mike, that's a tough programme. In the old days, sometimes we started on Wednesday, we raced on Wednesday, and then on Friday, and then on Sunday. So